Have you ever wondered if there are specific words, actual spiritual codes, that could unlock the floodgates of abundance in your life within just 24 hours? What if I told you that Florence Scovel Shinn, one of the most profound metaphysical teachers of the 20th century, discovered exactly that? 11 powerful words that, when spoken with divine consciousness, can completely transform your relationship with prosperity. These aren't your typical affirmations or empty motivational phrases that leave you feeling temporarily inspired but unchanged. No, these are precise frequency codes that bypass your logical mind and directly activate the divine law of supply in your life. In her personal journal, Florence wrote something truly revolutionary. The universe doesn't respond to pleas, but to declarations spoken from spiritual certainty. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You've tried visualization after visualization, affirmation after affirmation, perhaps even prayer after prayer, yet your financial situation remains unchanged. Many of us have been taught to ask, to hope, to wish for abundance. But what if that's precisely why it hasn't manifested in your life? What if the key isn't in asking, but in decreeing? Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might completely shift your understanding of how manifestation truly works. Florence's teachings reveal something extraordinary. These 11 words don't request abundance, they command it into being. They don't hope, they declare with absolute certainty. They don't wait, they release immediate manifestation. The most fascinating part? Florence witnessed time and again how students who applied these words with complete faith and zero resistance often saw results within hours, not months or years. Debts suddenly paid, unexpected contracts appearing, divine opportunities knocking at their door where once stood only walls. What separates those who successfully manifest abundance from those who struggle isn't effort, it's alignment. And these 11 sacred words create perfect alignment between your consciousness and the universal laws of prosperity. You see, Florence discovered something profound during her decades of spiritual work. Most of us have been approaching abundance completely backward. We've been taught that we need to accumulate in order to feel abundant. But what if the truth is exactly the opposite? What if you need to embody abundance consciousness first, and then, only then, will the physical manifestation follow? The first of these 11 powerful words might surprise you with its simplicity, yet its vibrational impact on your energy field is nothing short of revolutionary. This single word, when properly understood and felt, can instantly shift you from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. Join our abundance community by subscribing now. Every new video is designed to elevate your manifestation power and transform your relationship with prosperity at the deepest level. That single word is I, the most powerful force in the universe when properly understood. Not the small I of ego and personality, but the divine I that speaks with the authority of your true spiritual nature. When you pronounce these 11 words from the heart, not just parroting them mechanically, something remarkable happens at an energetic level. These vibrations open invisible channels of divine supply, bringing abundance with mathematical precision into your life. There's a cosmic algorithm at work here, a spiritual technology that operates beyond what our logical minds can comprehend. What fascinates me about Florence's discovery is how these words seem to create a direct pathway between intention and manifestation. They don't just inspire you, they literally transform the fabric of your reality. This isn't mystical wishful thinking. It's a revelation about how the universe actually operates on an energetic level. The journey toward abundance isn't random or chaotic. It follows precise spiritual laws just as reliable as gravity. When you align your consciousness with these laws through these specific words, your transformation becomes inevitable rather than merely possible. Florence meticulously documented hundreds of cases where her students applied these principles. The results weren't just impressive, they were shockingly rapid. Many experienced complete financial turnarounds within 24 hours. Imagine waking up tomorrow with that debt suddenly paid, that unexpected opportunity appearing out of nowhere, or that perfect client calling you after months of silence. One student, a woman on the verge of losing her home, applied these words with complete conviction despite her dire circumstances. The very next day, a relative she hadn't spoken to in years contacted her about repaying a long-forgotten loan, the exact amount needed to resolve her situation. Another student, a struggling artist, received 3 commission offers within hours of his first sincere practice session with these words. What's crucial to understand is the mindset behind these results. These students weren't begging the universe. They were declaring with absolute certainty. They weren't hoping for change. They were embodying the new reality before any physical evidence appeared. This fundamental shift in consciousness is what creates the space for miracles to enter. The hidden truth lies in understanding that abundance isn't something you chase, it's something you become. When you align your energy field with these precise vibrational codes, you're not changing your circumstances. You're changing the observer who creates those circumstances. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining exactly how these words bypass the logical mind entirely. You see, most manifestation techniques fail because they get caught in the quicksand of your rational thinking processes, which are programmed with all your past limitations and beliefs. Write "abundance activated" in the comments if you're ready to transform your relationship with prosperity using these ancient but powerful words. These 11 words create a direct line to your spiritual inheritance, bypassing the logical mind's resistance and doubt. What most people don't realize about manifestation is that the universe doesn't respond to how hard you work. It responds to your energetic alignment. This explains the profound mystery of why some people struggle endlessly, while others seem to effortlessly attract abundance. If you've been working diligently, repeating affirmations until you're blue in the face, visualizing until your imagination is exhausted, and still seeing minimal results, the revelation I'm about to share could completely transform your journey. The issue isn't your dedication or commitment. It's never been about effort. It's always been about alignment. Think about it this way. Imagine trying to tune into your favorite radio station but being just slightly off frequency. It doesn't matter how powerful your radio is or how desperately you want to hear that station. You'll only get static until you align precisely with its frequency. This is exactly what happens with abundance. Your consciousness needs to be in perfect resonance with prosperity's frequency. Florence discovered that true manifestation happens at the intersection of mind, word, and energy. When these 3 elements align in perfect harmony, resistance dissolves and abundance flows naturally. The mind believes, the word declares, and your energy embodies, creating an unshakable vibration that the universe must respond to. This is why declaration is so fundamentally powerful. In the spiritual realm, declaration isn't just speaking. It's a sacred act of creation. When you declare, "I attract abundance from this aligned state," you're not merely hoping or wishing. You're activating a divine mechanism. You're essentially signing your name to a cosmic contract. Behind the scenes of manifestation, something remarkable happens when you declare with conviction. You shift from being a passive recipient waiting for abundance to arrive to becoming an active creator, generating abundance from within. This mindset revolution changes everything about how prosperity flows into your life. Declaration creates a ripple effect through the fabric of your reality. First, it rewires your subconscious mind to recognize abundance as your natural state. Second, it aligns your energetic signature with prosperity's frequency. And finally, it commands the universal laws to orchestrate circumstances in your favor. This triple impact is why Florence's students experienced such dramatic transformations. What's fascinating is how this process transcends the physical world entirely. When you truly understand the metaphysical mechanics at work, you realize that manifesting abundance isn't about manipulating external circumstances. It's about returning to your original state of divine prosperity. It's a remembering rather than an achieving. I'm about to reveal how these principles converge in the first of Florence's 11 powerful words, a word so deceptively simple, yet containing the entirety of creation within it. This single word, when properly understood, completely revolutionizes your relationship with prosperity at its foundation. Drop ready for alignment. In the comments, if you're prepared to shift from effort-based manifesting to alignment-based creation. That first crucial word is I, but not just any I. Florence discovered a profound truth. Words are not merely sounds, they are energetic frequencies. When you speak, you're not just communicating, you're broadcasting a vibrational signature into the universe. However, not all words carry the same power. Only those vibrating in spiritual truth can actually move what Florence called the gears of abundance. This is why affirmations often fail. Most people repeat phrases without understanding the metaphysical mechanics behind them. Florence called this profound practice the art of speaking the word, because it truly is an art form. When words are spoken from the soul rather than just the lips, each becomes a divine decree, a command that shapes reality itself. What happens behind the scenes when you speak from this authentic space is truly remarkable. Your words become living blueprints, energetic seeds planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness. But here's the revelation that changed everything for Florence's students. The subconscious mind doesn't evaluate your words. It simply obeys them. This is the hidden truth that explains why so many struggle, despite positive thinking. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between empowering and limiting statements. It doesn't argue, debate, or reason. It simply accepts whatever you declare as command. When you unconsciously speak with doubt, saying things like, "I never have enough," or "money always slips through my fingers," the universe faithfully reflects that confusion and lack back to you. The journey to mastery begins when you recognize this pattern and make a conscious decision to transform it. When you speak from divine authority, that place of unshakable knowing within you, the entire cosmos reorganizes to deliver exactly what you've declared. This isn't magical thinking, it's understanding the operating system of reality. Consider Martha, one of Florence's most dedicated students. For years, she'd been saying, "I'm trying to become financially stable," without realizing that this declaration itself contained the energy of struggle and incompletion. Florence taught her to shift to, "I am the embodiment of divine prosperity now." Within days, opportunities appeared that had been invisible before, not because they weren't there, but because Martha's consciousness hadn't been aligned to perceive them. The revelation here is that your words aren't describing your reality, they're creating it. Every time you speak, you're either reinforcing the walls of your limitations or expanding the boundaries of your possibilities. Your vocabulary becomes your destiny because the subconscious takes every word as direct instruction. This understanding transforms ordinary speech into sacred practice. When you grasp that your words are actually laying down the spiritual architecture of your future, you begin to speak with reverence, precision, and power. You recognize that casual complaints aren't just expressions of frustration. They're powerful decrees that program your reality. The metamorphosis begins when you recognize the divine authority in your voice and begin to speak deliberately from that place of spiritual certainty. This is the foundation upon which Florence built her entire philosophy, and now we can explore how this principle unfolds through the second powerful word in this transformative sequence. Type, "I speak with authority," in the comments if you're ready to transform your words from empty sounds into creative forces. The second powerful word in this sequence is am, which when combined with I creates the divine declaration, "I am." But Florence discovered something even more profound about these 11 words. They work with such remarkable efficiency because they combine three essential principles that, when activated together, create an unstoppable force of manifestation. The first principle is recognition of divine identity, acknowledging that you are not separate from the source of all abundance, but are, in fact, an extension of it. The second is release of resistance, surrendering the doubt, fear, and skepticism that block the natural flow of prosperity. The third is anchoring in the eternal now, bringing your desires out of some distant future and into the present moment where all creation actually happens. Subscribe to continue your journey of spiritual abundance. I share Florence's most powerful teachings that most people will never discover on their own. When these three principles converge in a single declaration, something miraculous occurs. You bypass the logical mind entirely, that analytical part of you that constantly asks how and when and what if it doesn't work, and enter what Florence called the field of pure faith. In this field, manifestation isn't a process, but an immediate reality. This reveals one of the most transformative insights from Florence's work. These words won't produce results if you repeat them with underlying fear or anxious expectation of change. The breakthrough comes when you declare them as accomplished facts, as if the miracle has already occurred. This subtle but crucial distinction separates those who manifest quickly from those who remain stuck in cycles of hoping and waiting. Florence would often tell her students, "Faith doesn't wait for signs. Faith is the sign." When you truly understand this principle, your relationship with manifestation undergoes a revolutionary shift. You stop looking for evidence before believing and instead recognize that your belief itself is the evidence that sets creation in motion. Consider James, a businessman who had been on the brink of bankruptcy. After working with Florence, he stopped saying, "I hope this deal works out," and started declaring, "I am divinely guided to perfect prosperity now." The watershed moment came when he realized he wasn't trying to convince himself of something untrue. He was simply acknowledging what was already his in divine reality. Within 3 days, a competitor who had been blocking his progress unexpectedly proposed a partnership that resolved all his financial challenges. When James expressed amazement, Florence simply smiled and said, "The miracle didn't happen when the offer came. It happened when you shifted from pleading to knowing." This paradigm shift represents a profound evolution in consciousness. Most spiritual practices focus on what you need to do to become prosperous. Florence's revelation was that you don't become prosperous. You remember that you already are. The words simply activate that remembrance. The alchemy happens when you speak not from a place of trying to change your reality, but from a place of recognizing the abundant reality that already exists beneath the temporary appearance of lack. Your words become not tools of change, but instruments of revelation, pulling back the curtain on what has always been your divine inheritance. This foundation of faith creates the perfect environment for the third word in this powerful sequence, a word that directly calls forth the very essence of what you're claiming as yours. Right faith. Activate it in the comments if you've experienced moments where your certainty preceded physical evidence in your life. The third word in this powerful sequence is abundance. But before we explore it, let's delve deeper into the extraordinary power of I. When you pronounce this word with conscious awareness, you're invoking the highest creative force in the universe. This isn't the small, personal I that compares itself to others, worries about the future, or dwells in fear and limitation. This is the divine I, the I that was created in God's image and likeness, the authentic creator of your reality. Florence made a revolutionary discovery during her decades of metaphysical work. She realized that when you say I, you're literally invoking your divine self, activating the God presence within you. The universe doesn't hear your personality speaking. It hears the source of all creation expressing itself through you. This is why what follows your I carries such tremendous creative power. The profound revelation that transformed thousands of Florence's students was this: the biggest error humans make isn't in their actions, but in their identification. We constantly identify with what Florence called the shadow, our physical bodies, bank accounts, job titles, past failures, and external results, instead of remembering our true spiritual nature. This misplaced identity is the root cause of all struggle with abundance. Imagine a royal heir who was kidnapped as a child and raised by beggars. Though born to wealth and power, they live in poverty because they've forgotten their true identity. This is precisely what happens to us spiritually. We are divine beings, expressions of the infinite source, but we've identified with our limitations instead of our limitless nature. When you say I with awakened consciousness, something profound happens within your energetic system. You reclaim your sovereign identity. You step back into your spiritual birthright. You remember that you're not a human struggling to become spiritual. You're a spiritual being having a temporary human experience. This mindset revolution completely transforms how you relate to abundance. One of Florence's students, a woman named Catherine, had spent years repeating affirmations without results. During a pivotal session, Florence asked her a simple yet profound question. When you say I, who do you believe is speaking? Catherine realized she had been affirming from her limited, personal identity rather than her divine self. The watershed moment came when she placed her hand on her heart and declared I, with the full awareness that it was God speaking through her. Within days, a situation that had been blocked for months suddenly resolved itself. Catherine didn't do anything differently in the external world. She simply transformed her consciousness of who was speaking when she said, I. This revelation exposes the hidden truth behind why some people manifest effortlessly while others struggle despite their best efforts. The difference isn't in technique, but in identity. When you speak from your divine I, you're not trying to change reality. You're exercising your inherent authority as a co-creator with the universe. Your words become not requests, but recognition of what is already yours in divine truth. The journey of transformation begins with this profound shift in self-perception. You are not separate from the source of abundance. You are an individualized expression of that very abundance, seeking to experience itself through you. Share I am divine in the comments if you're ready to reclaim your spiritual identity as the foundation of abundant living. When you truly understand this divine I, you unlock a fundamental truth that transforms your entire relationship with abundance. When you pronounce I with spiritual awareness, the universe doesn't hear a person making a statement. It hears the source itself speaking. This is why everything that follows your I becomes not just a hope or a wish, but a divine decree, a command that sets creation in motion. Florence described the I as the brush with which you paint your destiny. Just as an artist doesn't doubt whether their brushstrokes will appear on canvas, you should never doubt whether your I statements will manifest in your reality. This isn't metaphorical. It's the literal mechanism of creation, the root of all manifestation. The universe doesn't distinguish between God saying, "Let there be light," and you saying, "I am abundant." Both are acts of divine creation speaking itself into existence. This revelation creates a profound paradigm shift. Most spiritual teachings focus on techniques to attract abundance, as if it's something external to be pulled toward you. Florence's breakthrough understanding was that I isn't attracting anything, it's creating everything. Your I doesn't request from the universe, it instructs the universe. This subtle distinction revolutionizes your manifestation practice instantly. But there's an even deeper dimension to this truth. I isn't just a word, it's a vibration, a living frequency of consciousness. When you pronounce it with awareness, you activate the divine spark within. In that sacred moment, something miraculous happens. You cease being someone seeking abundance and become abundance seeking to express itself through you. This identity transformation is the hidden catalyst behind every authentic manifestation. The shift happens not when your circumstances change, but when your self-perception transforms. In the journey of consciousness, This is the pivotal moment when the seeker realizes they are what they've been seeking all along. One of Florence's most remarkable students was a man named Robert, who had struggled financially for decades. During a profound meditation on the power of I, he experienced what he later described as a collapse of separation. He suddenly realized he wasn't Robert trying to manifest money. He was the infinite source experiencing itself as Robert. This wasn't an intellectual understanding, but a visceral knowing that permanently altered his relationship with prosperity. Within weeks, opportunities that had been invisible to him suddenly appeared everywhere. A talent he had taken for granted became the foundation of a thriving business. People who could assist his growth seemed to appear precisely when needed. Nothing in his external actions had changed. Everything shifted because of who was now speaking when he said, I. This profound truth reveals why affirmations often fail despite repetition. Speaking abundance-oriented phrases from your limited personal identity is like trying to drive a Ferrari with a lawnmower engine. The power simply isn't there. But when you speak from your divine identity, you access the infinite creative force that shaped galaxies. The awakening of this divine I consciousness creates ripples throughout every aspect of your life. Your decisions become more aligned, your intuition sharper, your timing impeccable, because you're operating from the command center of creation rather than its periphery. Share I am the creator in the comments if you've experienced moments where your words seem to directly shape your reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into this truth about the divine I by exploring a beautiful metaphor that Florence often shared with her students. Think about a simple seed for a moment. When you hold an acorn in your palm, what do you actually have? Most would say, just a seed. But the awakened perspective recognizes that you're holding an entire oak forest in potential form. That seed contains everything needed to become a magnificent tree: the roots, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, and even the blueprint for creating thousands more seeds. It doesn't doubt its destiny. It doesn't wake up wondering, can I really become an oak tree? It simply remembers its nature and allows the process to unfold. Florence revealed that your I functions exactly like this seed. Within that single word dwells everything you could possibly need or desire: wealth, health, peace, joy, wisdom, harmony, and fulfillment. Your I isn't seeking these qualities. It already contains them in their perfect, complete form. This revelation completely transforms the spiritual journey from an arduous quest to a simple remembrance. This seed metaphor illuminates why Florence was so adamant about using I consciously and reverently. She warned her students that saying phrases like, I am poor or I can't, doesn't just describe your situation. It actually decrees limitation into existence. When you say I, you're essentially using God's name, the creative force itself, speaking through you. Every word that follows becomes a divine command that the universe must fulfill. The awakening occurs when you recognize the sacred responsibility of your I statements. They aren't casual observations. They're spiritual blueprints that your subconscious and the universal mind will faithfully construct into your reality. This understanding creates a profound shift in how you speak, both to others and to yourself. Your inner dialogue becomes a sacred practice rather than unconscious mental chatter. One of Florence's students, an artist named Michael, had the breakthrough when she asked him to monitor his I statements for just one day. He was shocked to discover how frequently he declared limitation without even realizing it. I'm terrible with money. I never get these opportunities. I'm not good enough yet. Each statement was a decree blocking his prosperity. When he began consciously redirecting each I statement toward abundance, the transformation wasn't just in his external circumstances, but in his entire relationship with himself. The revelation wasn't that he needed to convince himself of something untrue, but that he needed to stop decreeing what he didn't want and start decreeing what was already his in divine truth. This mindset revolution represents the cornerstone of Florence's teaching. The conscious use of I isn't positive thinking. It's divine remembrance. It's not forcing yourself to believe something against evidence. It's recognizing what's eternally true beneath temporary appearances. Type conscious creator in the comments if you're committing to being more aware of the divine power in your everyday I statements. Now, I want to go even deeper into the spiritual mechanics of these powerful words by exploring the extraordinary transformation that happens when I combines with the second word, am. While I is the recognition of your divine existence, am is that divinity in action, the creative principle expressing itself through you in real time. When joined together, I am becomes what Florence called the sacred name of the Creator, speaking through your human form. This isn't poetic language. It's a precise description of the metaphysical process unfolding every time you make an I am declaration. In ancient spiritual traditions, this combination was considered so powerful that many cultures considered it too sacred to even pronounce aloud. Each time you say, I am, you're literally invoking the same creative power that formed worlds, the identical force that makes seeds bloom, stars shine, and hearts beat. This revelation completely revolutionizes how you understand your everyday statements. You're not merely describing your current circumstances. You're actively generating your future reality. The profound awakening occurs when you realize that I am isn't just a linguistic construct. It's a vibrational command center broadcasting to the entire universe. Whatever follows these two words becomes encoded into your energy field and reflected back to you through circumstances, opportunities, and experiences. This is why Florence was so adamant that her students become impeccably conscious of what they attach to their I am statements. One of her students, a businessman named Richard, had spent years unconsciously declaring, I am always behind on my finances, and I am struggling to make ends meet. Despite working harder than everyone around him, his reality consistently mirrored these declarations. The breakthrough came when Florence helped him see that his I am statements weren't observations. They were causative forces actively creating his experience. When he shifted to, I am divinely guided to perfect prosperity, and I am a magnet for financial opportunities, the transformation was remarkable. Within weeks, a business contact he hadn't spoken to in years reached out about a partnership that ultimately multiplied his income. The catalyst wasn't a change in strategy, but a fundamental shift in his identity, in who was speaking when he said, I am. This journey of consciousness reveals the hidden truth behind the saying, your word is your wand. Your I am statements are quite literally programming the field of infinite possibilities to organize themselves around your declarations. The universe doesn't argue with your I am. It simply says, yes, you are, and rearranges reality to match. The revelation that transforms everything is understanding that I am isn't trying to make something happen. It's recognizing what already is in divine truth. You're not forcing prosperity into your life. You're acknowledging the prosperity that's already yours in spiritual reality. Share I am power in the comments if you're ready to become more conscious of the creative force you activate every time you make an I am statement. Now, I want to go even deeper into the transformative power of these words by revealing the crucial distinction that separates those who experience miraculous results from those who see minimal change. The secret isn't just in saying, I am. It's in being it, in embodying the declaration with your entire consciousness. This means feeling the truth of your statement in every breath, every thought, and every gesture. Florence discovered that many spiritual seekers would mechanically repeat affirmations without actually inhabiting them energetically. They would say, I am abundant, while their body remained tense, their breath shallow, and their thoughts contradicting the very words they spoke. This energetic misalignment explains why so many people practice affirmations for years with little to show for it. When you truly believe your I am statement, when it permeates every cell of your being, the universe has no choice but to obey. This isn't magical thinking. It's understanding the fundamental nature of consciousness as the primary creative force in your reality. Your embodied belief becomes the template that reality must conform to. One of Florence's most profound insights was recognizing that every I am statement functions as a direct order to the universe. It's not a request or a hope. It's a command that sets in motion the reorganization of energy and circumstances. The power isn't in the words themselves, but in the consciousness behind them. When you declare, I am prosperity, you're not creating something new. You're revealing what already existed, awaiting your recognition. This revelation transforms your understanding of manifestation from an act of creation to an act of revelation. You're not building prosperity from scratch. You're removing the veils that have hidden your innate prosperity. This shift in perspective changes everything about how you approach abundance. A student named Elizabeth had tried countless prosperity programs without success. During a pivotal session with Florence, she realized she'd been affirming abundance while simultaneously searching for evidence of its arrival, essentially contradicting her own declaration. The breakthrough came when Florence guided her to simply be abundant in her consciousness without looking for proof. Elizabeth began practicing I am prosperity, not as a technique, but as a remembrance of her true nature. She walked differently, breathed differently, made decisions differently, not because her circumstances had changed, but because her self-perception had transformed. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities arrived that perfectly aligned with her new embodied identity. This journey of transformation reveals why Florence emphasized feeling over technique. The mindset revolution occurs not when you perfect your affirmations, but when you abandon the very idea that abundance is something separate from you that needs to be attained. Your I am statements become not tools to get something, but recognitions of what already exists within your divine nature. Type I embody abundance in the comments if you're ready to shift from mechanically repeating affirmations to truly living them from the inside out. Now, I want to go even deeper into this principle by sharing the transformative journey of Thomas, one of Florence's most remarkable students. Thomas was an incredibly talented artist who had spent years without selling a single painting. Despite his undeniable skill, he constantly affirmed, I am an unrecognized artist, and I am someone waiting for my big break. The universe, as always, faithfully reflected these declarations back to him through his experiences. After attending one of Florence's lectures, Thomas approached her in desperation. She listened carefully to his story, and then offered a simple but profound insight. Your art doesn't need improvement, Thomas. Your declarations do. She instructed him to make one fundamental shift, to look in the mirror each morning and declare with absolute conviction, I am divine success manifested. At first, Thomas felt ridiculous. His logical mind protested, insisting this was delusion rather than truth. But he persisted, and on the 7th day of this practice, something extraordinary happened. As he spoke the words, I am, divine success manifested, a profound peace washed over him. It wasn't euphoria or excitement, it was deeper, a serene knowing that settled into his very bones. That same afternoon, a gallery owner who had discovered his work online reached out unexpectedly. She offered him a featured exhibition, which not only sold out completely, but launched his career into an entirely new dimension. The revelation wasn't just in the external success, but in Thomas's recognition that his declarations had literally reshaped his reality. This story perfectly illustrates one of Florence's most revolutionary teachings. Don't try to change your conditions. Change your declarations, and the conditions will change themselves. This insight completely inverts the conventional approach to manifestation. Most people look at their current circumstances and then try to figure out what actions will improve them. Florence revealed that this sequence is backward. Your declarations come first, and reality rearranges itself accordingly. She explained that I am is the seed, and whatever follows becomes the fruit. Plant the seed of limitation, and limitation grows. Plant the seed of abundance, and abundance flourishes. The mindset revolution occurs when you realize you're not describing your current reality with your "I am" statements. You're prescribing your future experience. This principle operates with mathematical precision in every area of life. A woman who had struggled with health issues for years shifted from "I am constantly fighting illness" to "I am vibrantly healthy in mind, body, and spirit." Within weeks, she encountered a treatment approach that transformed her well-being. A man drowning in debt changed his declaration from "I am overwhelmed by financial pressure" to "I am a masterful steward of unlimited resources." Within days, opportunities for debt consolidation and new income appeared that had been invisible to him before. The awakening lies in recognizing that your declarations aren't wishful thinking. They're energetic blueprints that your subconscious mind and the universe faithfully construct into your experienced reality. Type "Declaration is creation" in the comments if you're ready to take full responsibility for the declarations you've been making about your life. Now I want to go even deeper into the practical application of these powerful principles by sharing a simple yet transformative morning ritual that Florence recommended to all her students. This practice has the potential to completely revolutionize your relationship with abundance before you even begin your day. Each morning upon waking, before checking your phone or thinking about problems, place your hand over your heart. This physical gesture creates a direct energetic connection to your spiritual center. Take 3 deep, conscious breaths, not shallow breathing, but full, expansive breaths that awaken your entire being. Then, with quiet authority, declare, "I am one with divine abundance." The power of this morning ritual lies in its timing. In those first moments of wakefulness, your subconscious mind is still highly receptive, not yet cluttered with the day's concerns. The decisions you make in these sacred morning moments quite literally program your energetic signature for the hours ahead. When you begin by aligning yourself with abundance, rather than immediately absorbing the world's problems through your devices, you fundamentally alter your vibrational frequency. This brings us to the third word in Florence's powerful sequence: abundance. Florence discovered that this word carries a specific vibrational signature that directly communicates to the universe. I have, I am, I share. It's not merely a concept or a description. It's a living frequency that, when pronounced from your spiritual center, activates dormant prosperity codes within your consciousness. What makes this word so transformative is the paradigm shift it creates. When you declare "I am abundance," you're not asking for prosperity as something outside yourself. You're claiming your divine inheritance, recognizing what has always been yours in spiritual truth. This revelation completely inverts the conventional approach to manifestation, where people plead with the universe for resources they perceive as separate from themselves. One of Florence's students, a woman named Sarah, had spent years practicing affirmations with minimal results. During a private consultation, Florence observed that Sarah was subtly positioning herself as a beggar before the universe, hoping to be granted abundance from an external source. The breakthrough came when Florence helped her recognize that abundance wasn't something to acquire, but something to remember, a birthright to reclaim. Sarah began practicing the morning ritual, placing her hand on her heart and declaring, "I am one with divine abundance," as soon as she awakened. Within days, her entire relationship with money transformed. She began noticing opportunities that had always been there, but had been invisible to her previous mindset. Resources began flowing, not because the universe suddenly became more generous, but because she had shifted her consciousness from separation to oneness with the source of all supply. This profound inner transformation reveals the hidden truth behind why some people seem naturally abundant, while others struggle despite similar external circumstances. The difference isn't in their strategies or even their actions, it's in their fundamental relationship with abundance itself. Type "abundance activated" in the comments if you're ready to claim abundance as your divine inheritance rather than something to pursue outside yourself. Now, I want to go even deeper into a profound revelation that completely transforms how abundance manifests in your life. Florence discovered a subtle but critical trap that keeps countless people locked in cycles of scarcity despite their best spiritual efforts. The trap lies in a single word: wanting. When you say, "I want abundance," you're unwittingly communicating a state of absence to the universe. The vibration of wanting inherently contains the energy of not having. This creates a perpetual state of separation between you and what you desire. The universe doesn't evaluate your intentions. It simply reflects your state of consciousness with perfect precision. So when you declare, "I want abundance," the universe faithfully returns the experience of wanting but not having abundance. This revelation transforms your entire approach to manifestation. Instead of affirming, "I want financial freedom," or "I want prosperity," you shift to the powerful declaration, "I am abundance." The first creates distance between you and your desire. The second collapses that distance entirely. This isn't semantic wordplay. It's a fundamental shift in your vibrational relationship with prosperity. Eleanor's story perfectly illustrates this transformative principle. She was a retired schoolteacher living on a fixed income that barely covered her essential needs. For years, she had unconsciously programmed lack into her reality with declarations like, "I just have enough to get by," and "I need to be careful with my money." Each statement was a command that her subconscious and the universe faithfully fulfilled. After attending one of Florence's lectures, Eleanor experienced a profound awakening. She realized she had been approaching abundance from a mindset of separation rather than oneness. The pivotal shift came when Florence suggested a simple but powerful practice. Each morning, Eleanor would place her hands over her heart and declare with quiet certainty, "I am divine abundance. My provision is unlimited. My resources multiply daily." At first, nothing external changed. But internally, Eleanor noticed a subtle yet profound transformation. The constant anxiety about money began to dissolve. She started feeling more peaceful, more grateful, more confident that all was well, despite no obvious change in her financial circumstances. This inner shift was the true miracle, though Eleanor didn't fully recognize it at the time. Within just 3 weeks, the external began aligning with her new consciousness. People from her past reached out with opportunities for part-time consulting work. A small investment she had forgotten about suddenly yielded unexpected returns. A former student invited her to participate in an educational program that provided additional income. The revelation that changed Eleanor's life forever wasn't about the money itself. It was the profound understanding that her consciousness of abundance had created the money, not vice versa. Most people believe they need financial resources first in order to feel abundant. Florence's revolutionary teaching inverted this equation. You must first embody abundance consciousness, and then the physical manifestation naturally follows. This perspective completely transforms your relationship with prosperity. Rather than chasing external resources to feel secure, you cultivate the inner state of abundance that inevitably attracts its physical counterpart. Drop "Consciousness creates reality" in the comments if you've experienced moments where your inner state seemed to manifest as your outer circumstances. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformative journey by exploring the fourth word in Florence's powerful sequence: divine. This single word completely revolutionizes your relationship with abundance by elevating your declarations to the spiritual plane where error, lack, and delay simply don't exist. When you declare, "I am abundance divine," you're recognizing something profound, that your prosperity doesn't depend on the economy, your employment situation, or other people's decisions. It flows from an infinite, perfect source that transcends all human limitations. This revelation creates an immediate shift in your consciousness, from looking horizontally at external circumstances to connecting vertically with your infinite supply. Florence made a revolutionary discovery during her decades of metaphysical work. She observed that most people struggle because they're trying to manifest from the human mind. through effort, worry, planning, and struggle. The human mind operates through logic, linear thinking, and visible evidence. It constantly asks how, and when, and what if. These questions, while seemingly practical, actually create resistance that blocks the natural flow of abundance. True miracles occur when you surrender control to what Florence called the divine mind, that higher intelligence that never fails, never doubts, and never lacks. Unlike the human mind that operates through effort, the divine mind operates through grace. Instead of struggling, it flows. Instead of forcing, it allows. Instead of planning every detail, it orchestrates perfect outcomes, beyond what you could imagine. One of Florence's students, a woman named Margaret, perfectly illustrates this principle. She had tried countless manifestation techniques, affirmations, visualizations, vision boards, but always from the strained perspective of her human mind. She approached Florence in desperation, having depleted her savings and seeing no path forward. Florence observed something profound. Margaret was affirming from fear, not faith. She was declaring prosperity while simultaneously calculating how many weeks her resources would last. The breakthrough came when Florence asked her, "From where are you declaring your prosperity? From human fear or divine certainty?" This question catalyzed a profound transformation. Florence taught Margaret to declare, "I am abundance divine. My provision comes from infinite mind." The distinction wasn't just in the words, but in the consciousness behind them. Instead of desperately trying to figure out how money would come, Margaret relaxed into the certainty that her supply was already arranged by divine intelligence. Within 24 hours of this consciousness shift, Margaret received an unexpected call from a friend she had helped years earlier. This friend, now prosperous, offered her a position, housing, and an opportunity that completely transformed her financial situation. The revelation wasn't just in the external result, but in Margaret's recognition that the solution had always been there, waiting for her to align with her divine source. This mindset revolution represents the cornerstone of Florence's teaching about prosperity. When something is divine, it doesn't require effort, only recognition. The divine mind doesn't struggle to create abundance. It simply reveals the abundance that already exists in perfect form. Share Divine Mind Activated in the comments if you've ever experienced a solution appearing effortlessly after you stopped trying to figure everything out with your human mind. Now, I want to go even deeper into this transformative sequence by exploring the fifth word, a word so powerful that without it, even the most beautifully crafted affirmations remain theoretical rather than manifest. This word is now. Florence made a revolutionary discovery that completely transforms how prosperity manifests in your life. She taught that the only time of God is now. The universe doesn't understand tomorrow or someday or eventually. The divine mind operates exclusively in the present moment. This revelation explains why so many affirmations and visualizations fail to produce results. They're unconsciously projected into some distant future rather than anchored in the immediacy of now. When you declare, "I am abundance divine now," you're making a profound energetic statement. You're collapsing the perceived distance between your current circumstances and your desired experience. Without this crucial word, your declarations float in the future like beautiful dreams that never quite arrive on your doorstep. The now acts as an energetic anchor, pulling your desires from the realm of possibility into the domain of present reality. This insight reveals one of the most insidious traps in consciousness, what Florence called the when trap. How often have you caught yourself thinking, "When I get that promotion, I'll feel successful," or "When my bank account reaches that number, then I'll feel abundant," or "When I find the right relationship, I'll be happy." This when thinking seems innocent, but it creates a perpetual state of waiting rather than experiencing. The hidden truth is that this when mentality actually pushes your desires further away with each declaration. It creates an energetic pattern that constantly positions abundance in your future rather than your present. Florence discovered that this single word, now, acts as the spark that ignites instant manifestation because it fundamentally alters your relationship with time itself. Robert, a business executive who had struggled financially despite years of positive thinking, experienced a profound transformation after working with Florence. He had been unconsciously affirming, "Soon I'll have more money, and I'm working toward abundance." Florence helped him see that these statements, despite their positive intention, were actually programming delay into his manifestation. The breakthrough came when he shifted to declaring with absolute conviction, "I am abundance divine now." Within days, his perception began changing. He noticed opportunities that had been invisible before. A project he'd been trying to launch for months suddenly gained momentum. An unexpected tax refund arrived, but the most profound shift wasn't external. It was his internal liberation from the waiting game. He was no longer postponing his experience of abundance until some future condition was met. He was claiming it as his present reality. This mindset revolution represents perhaps the most transformative insight in Florence's teaching. The now isn't just a word. It's a decision to step out of linear time and into the eternal present where all manifestation occurs. It's a declaration that you refuse to postpone your good any longer. You're not becoming abundant someday. You're remembering your abundance today. Type "present to abundance" in the comments if you're ready to break free from the when trap and claim your prosperity in the eternal now. Now, I want to go even deeper into the alchemy of manifestation by exploring the sixth word in Florence's transformative sequence, a word that doesn't just request abundance, but actually magnetizes it into your reality. This word is thank you. Florence made a profound discovery that completely revolutionizes how we approach manifestation. She observed that gratitude isn't merely a courtesy or a polite response after receiving. It's a spiritual frequency that communicates to the universe, "I have already received." When you declare, "I am abundance divine now, thank you," you're not expressing hope for future fulfillment. You're acknowledging present completion. This form of gratitude, what Florence called gratitude in advance, represents one of the purest expressions of faith possible. It's the ultimate demonstration of certainty, the energetic signature of someone so convinced of their divine supply that they're thanking the universe before seeing any physical evidence. This consciousness creates an irresistible, magnetic field that accelerates manifestation with remarkable precision. The hidden truth that transforms everything is this: what you're grateful for expands, what you take for granted dissolves. This isn't poetic language, it's a precise description of how energy responds to your consciousness. Gratitude isn't just a pleasant emotion, it's a creative force that literally multiplies whatever it touches. Eleanor, one of Florence's most dedicated students, had struggled with financial anxiety for decades. Though she had tried various spiritual practices, she always approached them from a mindset of scarcity. Florence noticed that Eleanor's declarations, though positive on the surface, still vibrated with underlying fear. The breakthrough came when Florence suggested a revolutionary practice. Each morning and evening, Eleanor would place her hands on her heart and declare with quiet certainty, "Thank you, Divine Source, for the perfect money that is already on its way to me." She wasn't asking, pleading, or hoping. She was acknowledging completion in a realm beyond physical sight. Initially, Eleanor felt uncomfortable with this practice. It seemed dishonest to thank for something not yet visible. But Florence explained that she wasn't pretending. She was recognizing what was already accomplished in divine reality. By the third day, Eleanor noticed a subtle but profound shift. A peaceful certainty replaced her chronic anxiety about money. She felt lighter, more trusting, more at ease. On the fourth day, she received a letter from her late husband's attorney about a forgotten investment that was now ready to be claimed, exactly the amount needed to clear her debts and begin anew. This wasn't coincidence, but demonstration of a spiritual law working with mathematical precision. This revelation completely transforms your relationship with abundance. Adding thank you to your declarations instantly shifts your vibration from lack to fullness. Your energy field changes from requesting to receiving, from seeking to finding, from hoping to knowing. This subtle shift makes all the difference in how quickly your manifestations materialize. Write "grateful in advance" in the comments if you're ready to start thanking the universe for blessings before you can see them with your physical eyes. Now, I want to go even deeper into the spiritual mechanics of manifestation by exploring the seventh word in Florence's powerful sequence, a word that fundamentally transforms how your declarations interact with universal law. This word is done. Florence discovered something remarkable about the nature of spiritual decrees. Without a proper energetic closure, your declarations remain open-ended, floating in the ethers, vulnerable to doubt and contradiction. The word done functions as a spiritual signature, a definitive seal that tells the universe your command is final and complete. When you declare, "I am abundance divine now, thank you, done," you're essentially closing the energetic circuit. You're signaling to your subconscious mind and the universal intelligence that this matter is settled, not up for debate, not subject to revision, but completed in divine truth. This seemingly simple word creates a profound transformation in how your manifestations materialize. Behind the scenes of creation, done acts as the catalyst that moves your declaration from the realm of intention into the domain of manifestation. It's the energetic equivalent of pressing the send button on your cosmic order. Without it, your affirmations may remain in perpetual draft mode, composed but never delivered. Peter, a businessman who had experienced a devastating financial loss, illustrates this principle perfectly. He had been working with various spiritual practices without significant results until Florence guided him through a revelation. She observed that Peter was constantly affirming positive outcomes while simultaneously questioning whether they would actually manifest. His declarations lacked finality. Florence instructed him to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and declare with absolute conviction, "My divine restitution is done. Not in progress, not on its way, but done, completed and settled in divine mind." Though nothing changed immediately in his external circumstances, Peter experienced a profound internal shift, a deep peace, a sense of completion, as if something had aligned at an invisible level. 3 days later, a former business partner contacted him about unexpected compensation from a deal Peter had assumed was defunct. The exact amount he needed appeared not through struggle, but through surrender to divine completion. The revelation wasn't just in the result, but in Peter's recognition that done wasn't merely the end of the process, it was the activation of the miracle. This mindset revolution completely transforms your relationship with manifestation. Rather than constantly checking, worrying, or wondering when your good will appear, you rest in the certainty of completion. Done liberates you from the exhausting cycle of affirming and then undermining your own declarations through doubt. Moving beyond done, Florence revealed an eighth word that brings extraordinary clarity once your decree has been sealed. This word is light. She taught her students that doubt, fear, and confusion don't actually have substance of their own. They exist only in the absence of light, like shadows that instantly dissolve when illumination appears. When you declare light as part of your abundance sequence, you're invoking the clarity that dissolves all confusion and reveals the perfect path forward. Drop "it is done" in the comments if you're ready to seal your declarations with the finality that transforms intention into manifestation. Now, I want to go even deeper into the transformative power of light by exploring its function beyond mere illumination. When Florence taught this word to her advanced students, she revealed that light isn't just symbolic, it's a living frequency that actively dissolves uncertainty and reveals the perfect path forward. Most spiritual seekers make a fundamental error. They try to figure everything out with their logical mind. They analyze, strategize, and worry about how their prosperity will manifest. But Florence discovered that this approach actually creates resistance. The human mind was never designed to orchestrate miracles. It was designed to recognize and appreciate them once they appear. Light operates on an entirely different principle. When you declare light as part of your prosperity sequence, you're not asking to see the solution. You're becoming the light that reveals it. This distinction completely transforms your relationship with manifestation. Instead of struggling to find answers through mental effort, you allow divine intelligence to illuminate the perfect path through inspiration, synchronicity, and intuitive guidance. One of Florence's students, Clara, was facing an impossible situation with her critically ill child. Medical treatments weren't working, and she was exhausted from trying to figure out what to do. After working with Florence, Clara stopped seeking solutions and simply began declaring one word repeatedly: light, light, light. She wasn't asking for healing or pleading for help. She was simply invoking illumination. The next morning, her child awoke energetic, fever-free, and laughing as if nothing had happened. Clara understood in that moment that the miracle hadn't come from external intervention, but from the inner clarity her declaration had activated. The light hadn't healed the child. It had revealed the perfection that was always present beneath the appearance of illness. This revelation transforms how you approach any challenge in life. When you feel confused about money, relationships, health, or purpose, you don't need to force solutions through effort. You simply need to declare light and allow divine clarity to show you what was always there, waiting to be seen. Building on this foundation of clarity, Florence introduced the 9th word in her transformative sequence: faith. She made a revolutionary discovery about the true nature of faith that completely inverts conventional understanding. Faith isn't hoping something will happen in the future. It's knowing with absolute certainty that it has already occurred on the invisible plane. Faith functions as the bridge between imagination and experience, between what you can envision and what you can touch. It's not wishful thinking or blind belief. It's a state of consciousness that recognizes the completion of your desire in spiritual reality before it manifests in physical form. This understanding transforms faith from a passive waiting game into an active creative force. When you declare, "I am abundance divine now, thank you, done, light, faith," you're not expressing hope that prosperity will eventually appear. You're standing firmly in the conviction that abundance is already yours in divine truth, and your physical reality is simply catching up to what you know spiritually. Type "faith is knowing" in the comments if you're ready to transform your relationship with faith from hoping to absolute certainty. Now, I want to go even deeper into the revolutionary understanding of faith that Florence discovered. She observed that most people approach faith as a negotiation with the universe. If I believe hard enough, then maybe my desire will manifest. But true faith operates on an entirely different principle. It doesn't negotiate, plead, or set conditions. It simply declares, "It is done," and maintains unwavering certainty regardless of external appearances. This revelation completely transforms your relationship with manifestation. When you declare faith as part of your prosperity sequence, you're not expressing hope that your affirmations might work. You're demonstrating absolute conviction that the spiritual reality has already been established and is now unfolding in perfect timing. Florence often told her students, "It isn't the quantity of your faith that matters, it's the quality." A single moment of pure, unwavering certainty is more powerful than years of hoping and wishing. This pure faith creates an energetic signature that the universe can't help but respond to with precision. Beatrice, one of Florence's most dedicated students, had tried countless prosperity practices without lasting results. During a breakthrough session, Florence observed that Beatrice's declarations, though consistent, still contained an underlying current of doubt. She wasn't fully committed to her own words. Florence gave her a transformative practice. Whenever doubt appeared, Beatrice would declare aloud, "I have faith that everything is perfectly resolved." She wouldn't try to figure out solutions or force outcomes. She would simply hold steady in her faith. For 3 consecutive days, every time fear touched her mind, she repeated her declaration. On the 4th day, an unexpected call changed everything. A client she hadn't spoken with in months offered her a project so substantial it not only resolved her immediate financial challenges, but created ongoing prosperity. The miracle wasn't the phone call, it was Beatrice's unwavering faith that kept the channel open for divine orchestration. This journey toward authentic faith reveals the hidden truth behind manifestation. Faith isn't passive waiting. It's an active internal stance that holds steady regardless of external evidence. It's the decision to trust divine timing even when human timing seems delayed. Building on this foundation of unwavering certainty, Florence introduced the 10th word in her transformative sequence, love. She made a revolutionary discovery that completely transforms how abundance manifests in your life. Love isn't just a pleasant emotion or spiritual ideal. It's the master key of the universe, the supreme energy that dissolves all resistance, unites visible and invisible realms, and transforms words into living creation. When you declare love as part of your prosperity sequence, you're activating the highest vibrational frequency possible. In this elevated state, manifestation accelerates because love removes the subtle blocks of fear, unworthiness, and separation that often delay abundance. Type faith without wavering in the comments if you've experienced the power of maintaining certainty even when external circumstances suggested otherwise. Now, I want to go even deeper into the alchemical power of love as it relates to abundance. Florence discovered something extraordinary about this energy that revolutionizes manifestation. Love isn't just a beautiful spiritual concept. It's the supreme frequency that literally multiplies wealth wherever it flows. This revelation transforms prosperity from a mental exercise into a heart-centered practice. When you declare love as part of your abundance sequence, you're activating a vibrational catalyst that accelerates manifestation beyond what affirmations alone can accomplish. Without love in your heart, your decrees have structure but lack soul. They become mechanical formulas rather than living commands. Love is the animating force that transforms mere words into miracles, affirmations into manifestations. Clara, one of Florence's most dedicated students, had practiced prosperity techniques for years with minimal results. During a breakthrough session, Florence observed something profound. Clara's declarations were technically perfect but energetically flat. She approached abundance as something to acquire rather than something to love. Florence gave her an unconventional practice. For 1 week, each time Clara thought about money, she would declare, "I love you, money, for you are divine energy in action." And each time she spent money, she would silently affirm, "I release you with love so you may return to me multiplied." At first, Clara felt awkward with this practice, but by the 3rd day, something shifted within her. A lightness replaced her usual anxiety around finances. By the end of the week, an unexpected opportunity appeared. A client made a substantial payment on a long overdue invoice, and a forgotten investment suddenly yielded returns. The revelation wasn't that love had brought money. It was that love had transformed Clara's relationship with abundance itself. Florence explained, "It wasn't the money that created abundance. It was your consciousness of abundance that created the money." This insight completely inverts the conventional approach to prosperity, where we believe we need to accumulate in order to feel abundant. The truth is exactly opposite. We must embody abundance consciousness first, and then the physical manifestation naturally follows. This brings us to the 11th and culminating word in Florence's powerful sequence 1. This word crowns the decree and closes the sacred circle of creation by dissolving all sense of separation between you and what you desire. Florence discovered that the root of all lack is the illusion that we're separate from divine supply, that abundance is out there rather than within us. When you declare 1, you're acknowledging a profound truth. There is no you and the universe, you and money, you and opportunity. There is only oneness, a single energy expressing through infinite forms. This mindset revolution completely transforms how abundance flows into your life. Type Oneness embodied in the comments, if you're ready to dissolve the illusion of separation between yourself and divine abundance. As we complete our journey through these 11 transformative words, I invite you to integrate them fully into your consciousness. Take a moment to feel their combined power. I am abundance divine now. Thank you, done, light, faith, love, one. Feel how each word builds upon the previous, creating a complete circuit of manifestation that transforms your relationship with prosperity from the inside out. If these teachings have resonated with your spirit, I'd love for you to join our community of conscious creators. Subscribe to the channel and become part of this journey toward remembering our divine inheritance of abundance. Each video builds upon these principles, offering deeper insights into Florence's revolutionary teachings and practical ways to apply them in daily life. The transformation happens when we move from intellectual understanding to embodied wisdom. If you've experienced that shift while watching, simply write "Divine Abundance Activated" in the comments. I read every comment and love connecting with those who are walking this path of consciousness. If you found value in these teachings, letting me know with a like helps these principles reach others who are ready to remember their divine relationship with abundance. There's a video right here that takes these principles even deeper, exploring how Florence's teachings can transform not just your finances, but every area of your life. Click and continue this exploration with me. The journey has only just begun. Until next time, remember that you are not separate from abundance. You are abundance expressing itself in human form. The words you've learned today aren't just affirmations, they're remembrances of who you truly are.